Okay, and Jennifer has taken attendance, and there is no public comment. So I will call for approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? And if so, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, and then a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, so everyone in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand or say aye. Raise your hand if you're on the Okay. Okay, how many callers? Just one
That
caller?
might be Tom Caldwell.
Okay. So just one caller?
Yeah.
Okay,
Tom Caldwell.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so now we will move on to item number 5, which is approval of amendment number 1 to fiscal year 2022 to 2026 transportation improvement plan, and I'm going to call on Jennifer to explain.
Right, and this is the spreadsheet page with the 2 green shaded projects. For amendment number 1, this is various locations on or along I-74 structure painting, and I'll ask Bob to elaborate.
There's only 4 locations in the MPO area, and they're in the northwest area on I-74. There's 2 structures over Railroad. Then structure that carries TR-201 over 74, and the structure that carries Rock Road over 74.
Okay, are there any questions regarding this? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve amendment number 1, item number 5?
Jim?
Okay, Jim moves to approve, and is there a second?
Jason?
Jason? All right, everyone in favor, please say aye. Aye. Tom? Caller number 1?
He doesn't vote.
Oh, he doesn't.
I'm not voting.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
It's all right. Appreciate the question.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, I have no question. I just appreciate your recognizing me.
All right, okay. We'll move on to item number 6, which is approval of amendment number 2 to fiscal year 2022 to 2026 transportation improvement plan. And again, I'll call on Jennifer to explain.
And again, I'll call on Bob just to give us the specifics.
All right.
This is a safety program contract, and the section in the MPO is on I-55 from Sugar Creek to 1 mile east of Veterans Parkway, and it's pavement marking, and they're going to take the 4-inch pavement marking and widen it to 6-inch.
Sugar Creek, isn't that where we had the big accident where I-55 was closed this past week? There was a truck accident. I thought that was right.
Timber Bridge.
Was it Timber Creek?
Bridge or
Okay.
something, I don't know.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Anything that can make those lines more visible to traffic is a good thing. Are there any comments?
Yeah. Is this something that we should expect for happening throughout the state? Are they making all those lines wider?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, are they making the lines wider like we're doing here throughout the state, or is it just this particular section?
Just this particular section,
Okay,
that it's part of the highway safety improvement programs.
okay, all right.
Okay, is there a motion to approve amendment number 2? Kevin makes a motion to approve. Is there a second? Jason, second. All in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Okay, this unanimously passed. We'll move on to item number 7, approval of amendment number 3 to the 22 to 26 transportation improvement plan. And I'm going to try to go ahead. You go ahead, Jen.
Okay, thank you. I'll note that Cassie's turn the meeting, so
Hello.
thank you for being here.
You're with the county, right? Okay.
Currently our fearless leader.
Fair Foley.
Administratively speaking. Okay, this amendment number 3 refers to Show Bus, our rural public transportation provider here in McLean County, as well as 8 other counties across central Illinois. The subject of this is simply to specify their current activities in capital improvements, which have to do with their facility up in Chenoa, which is both an administrative, a repair, and a storage location. It's right on Hazelton Drive, right near the interchange with the interstate. I've never actually been there, but I know where it is. In any event, they are doing fairly substantial improvements to that facility in order to do several things. Create more secure storage, handle the converters stolen last winter, to make the building more functional altogether, and then also to make some improvements. And part of the reason that this is going to be going forward through FY24, is to make some changes in the building structure so that they can better accommodate code situations. So their entrance will be modified slightly so that it can be sort of cut off, and people will go through a couple of different doors rather than just right in. And they figured that our experience over the last 18 months has made that an important change. And this simply establishes the specifics of this program for these capital improvements in the TIP, where it was less specific earlier. So that's the purpose of this.
Are there any questions regarding this? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, and is there a second to the motion?
Sure.
Okay, Kevin. All in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Okay, so do we have anything for discussion?
Just
Number
very,
8?
very quickly on this whole question of how we're organizing these meetings now. Our current understanding is that we will be going in person completely as of today. And as of next month, we will be returning at long last to the conference room on the 4th floor, room 404, where we used to hold these meetings long ago. And that will give us the opportunity to hold both the technical committee and the policy committee meetings upstairs in that much larger room, which also has a video set up so we can continue to do this. We're continuing to live stream so that people can watch these proceedings, but not participate, obviously, directly. And those recordings go into the archive on YouTube on our YouTube channel so that people can refer to them. I refer to them, frankly, because it's easier sometimes than trying to get a recording. So that's the current game plan. And in terms of the location of the meetings, upstairs in 404, that, as I understand it, is through the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see what happens next. So the next time you hear from us with respect to either the technical or policy committees, it will be with an in-person meeting of those committees with taking place upstairs in 404, where there's a lot more room for everyone to spread out if there's some. So we can do social distancing, we can see where we are in terms of the masking recommendations, and it'll be less of a squeeze than we have. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And that's all I have.
Okay, I would like to ask our intern, or not an intern, our new employee here to introduce herself.
Sure. I'm Shivani, and I completed my master's in urban planning recently from University of Illinois. And I joined just a month ago as a new assistant planner here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I
Glad to have her.
have a question. I was having lunch last week with the mayor of Downs. And he was asking me if there was any kind of update or any information on the purchase or the abandonment of the railroad. I think it's in Norfolk and Southern, I believe.
Yes.
And obviously with COVID, I mean, this has been going on for several years now, and I didn't know whether there had been any new information or if someone could find out what the latest update is on that railway. It's a line from, I believe, from Mansfield all the way into Bloomington that's abandoned. They finally have decided to I guess, sell it or whatever. And again, it's been in the works for a few years. And I was wondering if, again, if we could get some information on that.
We can certainly look into it. My understanding would be that probably the county highway department would have information, and we have been looking at this for years now as a potential rails to trails project. I'm not sure if that's still in the offing or not, but we'll look into it and see what we can report.
They have issues in Downs, I'm sure they do, maybe in other small towns, with people, kids with four-wheelers going up and down those roads. And they posted some signs saying that it's private property and, you know, that they could actually be ticketed or whatever. I don't know that they went so far to do that, but I know they've had issues with that. And they didn't have so many issues other than the fact that somebody came through a year or so ago and kind of cleaned it up, which was a good thing, but it also made it more likely for people to go up and down. So
How
again, if
many
you could,
miles is it?
well, again, it's from Mansfield to Bloomington, so it's probably
Long
30,
distance.
40 miles maybe.
Okay.
And originally there was some talk about maybe selling off pieces to the farmers or whatever. And again, if they do that, it's going to kind of hurt the idea of a trail the whole distance. But I'm concerned, or I'm interested in it, obviously being in McLean County.
Right.
The strip from, from west to east to, well, I'd say Bellflower area all the way in. But again, if we could keep the whole thing, I think that would be good for potential going on east farther.
Yeah, there was discussion long ago about connecting that chunk of the Norfolk Southern into a trail system in Champaign County. So that it would go all the way to Champaign. And Kevin, I'm sure you know way more about this than I do, so.
Well, there was even meetings within the last couple of years.
Really? Okay.
I thought there was a grant that they had applied for that would help support that project that they didn't get, or there were.
Yeah, well, and DNR is involved in it because the railroads, technically it's embargoed right now. And the railroad is reserving their rights to that corridor at this point, so. But DNR has to be involved because the state agency, as I understand it, since it's, not just McLean County, but we want to get that whole corridor. And there is a group from Champaign actively interested, and we met, at the old bank in there in Leroy. I don't know, it's probably within the last 2 years we met a lot of different stakeholders there at that meeting, including, the Friends of the Trail and stuff. So a lot of interest, and as far as I understand right now, it's kind of in DNR's hands to try to get something worked out with the railroads so that we can reserve that corridor for a trail. But it sounds like Norfolk Southern doesn't want to give up the corridor. So
Right. Well,
that we would probably get some sort of tentative, if you will, ultimately, instead of being able to actually get that. Like, years ago, the Illinois Central, the city and the town and everybody actually acquired that right away. I don't think Norfolk Southern's willing to give it up yet. The embargo status gives them the chance to sell it to another railroad. So
I know it's been inactive for many, many years.
it has.
And as I said, I believe someone came through and took ties and rail, I believe they.
That's the railroad. The railroad had a contract come through, like within the last 2 years and recycle all the steel.
Yeah.
And then they recycled ties too. Yeah.
So,
So that's when they cleaned it up and made it
Right.
more,
Attractive.
yeah.
Oh,
right.
let's see.
Yeah.
Huh.
and I think that, again, the small towns are interested for possibilities of development or, just for tourism or whatever. So, but on the other hand, they're interested only to a point to what it's going to cost them. And, that's going to make a big difference also.
Well, it was noted at this last meeting that we had too, that, it would be good if something could be done sooner than later because as you noted, people start using it, but then there's also adjacent property owners that might encroach into it, and do things with it. And then there's just the nature of not maintaining something, you're gonna get, trees growing in there eventually. And so the corridor is cleaned out right now because they removed the railroad ties and the rails. And so it's open right now. If no one's mowing it, except for where the paths are, the four-wheelers are driving or whatever, the rest of it's gonna, grow up in brush and trees.
Yeah, I think the issue is that, as far as cost goes, it's not only maintaining it with gravel or whatever, but there's several trestles or bridges on there. In fact, there's one right there down.
Yep.
That will have to have some kind of a new surface or something done to it.
That's right.
So again, it could be expensive, but the opportunity doesn't come around very often.
That's right.
That's for sure. Okay, well, thanks for bringing that up. That's really interesting, John. We'll have to find out what's going on there.
Let's go.
Any more than Kevin told us.
Well, it sounds like you've had the most recent conversations, so we'll sort of see where that takes us.
Okay, so, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I Well.
Okay. Motions to adjourn. Anyone want a second? Kevin seconds? All right. Everyone who's in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you very much, everyone.
You're
Have a
welcome.
great coming. I really appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
sorry for being a couple minutes late.
Yeah, and I apologize for my tardiness.
Oh, it's all right. I'm sure you're busy as can be.
And Jennifer, is this policy meeting, is this something that the administration has typically attended, or is it only a board member that?
Usually, the county is represented by the chairman of the transportation committee.
Okay.
And we sort of tap you as a potential proxy in the event that Jim wasn't able to make it.
So that was the only one.
And Jim has done this before, because he was, of course, chair of the committee long, long ago.
Right.
He was scheduled to be out of town and then.
Not
Not just for this meeting, that's all.
And normally Jerry or Luke or someone else
Right.
is here.
Yes, somebody. But they both have to be town connected or away. If you have any questions on this, just give me a call. I'm happy to-
You're always wonderful to answer, yeah. Thank you.
Have a good day, Ray.
Good day.
Here, Ray. Keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it's good to see you in person. Hey.